Welcome, beautiful one, to our epic journey with the angels. Today is day 32. We meet the penultimate angel in our series, Archangel Cassiel, one of the lesser known angels, but Cassiel and his divine feminine twin, Archeia Serenity, are really, again, very pivotal in our ascension, helping people to wake up spiritually, to develop their path in alignment with their purpose and really help us to face fear and rise, as the card says. So let's just take a moment just to consciously invite Cassiel to be with us. And if you have the card, just bring it to your heart space. If not, just bring your hands to your heart. And then when you're ready, close your eyes. Nice, easy breath in. And sigh out the breath. Breathing in deeply. Sighing out. Just releasing anything before this now moment, before tuning into this video. The people, the planning, the to-do lists. Just letting everything go. That's it. Just allow yourself to soften, to bring all of your awareness here. As we invite in Archangel Cassiel, Most High, may you please come forward and deliver your teachings and messages, as well as connect with us, inspire us over the next 24 hours and beyond, so that we have a full life experience of you, rather than just learning about your virtues. May you really come into our lives and support us and inspire us to see the fears that we may be carrying, whether conscious or unconscious, and inspire us with ways that we can resolve and transform, so that we can live fully and presently, create the most bright, expansive life and path that is available. And so it is. Thank you. Breathing in, full breath out, and just open your eyes. And if this is your first time tuning into the series, welcome. I'm Calista, Angel Healing founder and author of the best-selling and now award-winning Female Archangels Oracle and Deck. I've been teaching people about angels, or not really teaching. I really see it as helping just to open that door of remembrance, because it's all within us, friends. These teachings are not anything that is really new. It's all just there. And there's always so much more to remember on this path. And a big part of this path has been to really reconnect people to the archangels, as well as the Archeia, the divine feminine counterparts. And in day 31's video, we looked at the counterpart of Casel, Archeia Serenity, who is the more softer, lighter expression of the black ray that Archangel Cassiel serves upon and manifests from. And in the card, he comes forward through the black ray, but there's also the grey and the pearlescent, a little bit of the pink light behind his wings, which is the presence of serenity. He carries, just as serenity does, the yin yang, but it's not just black and white. Within it, if you really study this card and the imagery, there is fractals of all the different rainbows. There's the Merkaba as well, symbology right in the center, which stands for light, body, and spirit, all living as one, all recognizing each other, as we recognize that we are just so much more than just this physical body container. We are soul, we are spirit, we are light, we are multifaceted, just like this yin yang symbol. And so let's just dive more into Cassiel's teaching. This is an angel. Cassiel and Serenity didn't join angel healing originally when it was first created. The starting seeds for angel healing were back in 2006. and then it became a legal, registered, official angel healing system in 2009. And it wasn't until 2011 that Cassiel and Serenity came in, and round about that time, that was really when the Archeia began to come forward a lot more, taking their focus from universal ascension, the ascension of our universe, our multiverse, to what was going on and around planet Earth. They started to focus our light, their light, on our light as we were beginning to awaken. And with that, as we made that transition as well from the Piscean age into the Aquarian age, and all the light was being focused from the divine Archeia onto the earth, it incited so many people to begin to wake up. A lot of sleeping beauties around the world began to awaken, and some, it was a really fast process of awakening where their gifts were switched on: mediumship, clairvoyance, clairsentience. They began to have precognitive dreams, began to have an awareness, began to see spirit. For some, for more, it was a lot more subtle. But with that process, when one goes through that process of spiritual awakening and ascension, so much fear is released into the collective consciousness, into the astral planes. And this is really why it was really important for Archangel Cassiel and Serenity to step into angel healing and really meet what was happening in the collective consciousness, because every angel in the angel healing system, and now we have 17 archangels and 17 archeia, they all marry and match an aspect of the human condition, of our life process, as well as our spiritual ascension. And for Cassiel, it's all about recognizing the fears that we're carrying and giving us ways, inspired ways, that we can begin to dissolve them and resolve fears and rise and expand, giving us a sense of greater courage, greater authority, greater awareness of who we are, so that we can break down fear where it begins and ends, in the mind. And I remember back then, it was round about November 2011, really was 11, 11, 11. I remember I was going up north from where I was living in central Scotland, all the way up to the top to Wick, and I was on the train, and I was just looking outside and at the very wild North Sea, and just contemplating the sea, how it was crashing against the rocks, and it was a really dark, very much like the background of this card, very dark, gloomy day. Yet I had the awareness in that moment that there was so much peace within the waters, underneath all those thrashing and crashing waves. There was such peace. And behind the clouds, the sun still shined. And in that moment, Cassiel came forward. And I'd never really had a conscious connection with Cassiel. I'd always really been there in the background. Serenity presented very much like my sister. I know for many of you that have had angelic lifetimes, I'm sure she feels like a sister too. Um, but I'd never really had a real good conversation with Cassiel and Serenity, and they both said, now is the time for us to come into the system. It's time for us to come into angel healing. And I asked this particular course that I'm about to lead, and they said yes. So it was very much impromptu, had nothing planned. They shared a little bit of what would come into the course, what they wanted to share. But as ever, when we began to channel, everything is just live, and the angels really take over when we're in the space of sharing the angel healing course. Anyway, when I arrived in Wick, my host came to pick me up, and it was a drive back to her house. And in that drive, I was telling her about Cassiel visiting me on the train, Serenity there as well, this really sudden inspiration to bring them into angel healing, what they wanted to share. And she turned to me and she looked at me in sheer astonishment, because her daughter at that time was really young, I think maybe 7 or 8, and she wanted to come in and sit in the level 1 degree angel healing that I was up in Wick to teach. I said, yeah, that's absolutely fine. But she said she has been communicating for the past week with an angel in her room. And when I asked what the angel was called, she said the angel was called Cassiel. And the angel was called Cassiel. So her daughter had been making that connection. Cassiel came forward in the train, everything aligned, and we had the most incredible course. And Cassiel featured, and from that very first course, began to be written fully into the angel healing system. So, yeah, Cassiel, again, as we talked about with Archeia Serenity, is either an angel that people embrace because they know that facing their fears lends so much growth, and I'm sure you know that yourself when you have been able to surmount a fear that you didn't think you were able, you didn't have the skills, or whatever you created in your mind, the limitations in your mind, and you did it, and you met another aspect of yourself. You grew, you expanded. And so some of the students of angel healing either love that, embrace that, they're like, yes, come on, or others are like, no, I don't want to connect with Cassiel and Serenity. And so I will leave it up to you, friends, whether you want to embrace Cassiel or not. But he has a lot of beautiful teachings in the book, The Female Archangels and Serenity, his divine feminine twin in the second edition of the new book. You can check out her chapter as well, all about breaking down fear. Cassiel shares that fear is one of the most disabling things in this world, in this physical and this energetic world that we all know. It's the one thing that stops us in our tracks. And most often or not, fear is really self-created. And when we are ready, and the angels never push us and they never judge us, they're always just there to hold the space. But when we are ready to face the fear, then so much wisdom is right on the other side of that. So much growth, so much remembrance of the who and the what that we are is right there. And just going back to that point that the angels don't intervene, more so with Cassiel, because he is what's known as a watcher angel. In the angel healing system, we break this down. If you're interested, come and join us for the next level 1. I'll put a link in the comments. There's a course coming up really soon. But he's a watcher angel. He's a grey angel. And he watches. He doesn't really intervene. He's part of the seraphim order. And he understands being an angel more of solitude and calm. That the contrast that exists within our world that incites fear, whether it's self-created or whether it's something in our environment that we are fearful of, that contrast creates so much for us. It's the way that we learn, change, and grow. And he says, really, that life is our teacher and angels are only the guides. Life itself is our teacher. If we embrace life, then we are saying yes to embracing our fear as well. Because it's only when we stay rigid, stuck in our comfort zone, stuck in our routines, stuck in the familiar. I mean that word stuck with intention here, and because this is what he's saying, we do remain stuck. We don't change. Nothing changes if nothing changes. And so when you are ready to really expand your life more, Cassiel will show up. And this morning, when I started to come into his realm, I got a rash all over my heart. And it's probably still there. When I was getting changed, I saw it all over my body. And often when we have a rash, especially on our heart center, we are reacting to ourselves. There's something that we're coming up, and I've had a big decision to make the last couple of days involving the heart, involving relationships, and it's almost like the fear that I've been carrying, I'm reacting to it. My body is reacting to it, and again, there is so much teachings in that. We can see these things, like these physical things that are happening and taking place in our reality. And often, if we're not just consciously aware, we can go into that reaction mode and think that there's something wrong. I need to go to the doctor. What's wrong with me? What have I eaten? And instead, I just knew in that moment, okay, I'm just I'm reacting to what I need to give love to, from what I need to make a decision about that has been very much tied to a fear. So I really embrace that with Cassiel. So just be observant is what I'm trying to say. When you're with Cassiel, when you're in his energy, just be observant. He is the angel, he is the watcher angel, so you might feel a lot more reflective in his company. You might want to be inspired to journal a lot more, especially around your fears, especially around apprehension. You might want to write and pen an I am fearless list, which is something that I've done in the past with Cassiel and Serenity, where you literally write down all the different situations and scenarios in your life thus far where you have felt the fear, but you've done it anyway. Whether it's public speaking, applying for a job, asking someone on a date, letting something go that you've been holding on to, wherever you've been stuck and holding yourself rigid by that fear, but you have surmounted it, you write your list. And then you read that list anytime where you're stuck in fear, you're stuck in anxiousness, you're stuck in that what if energy. Read it. And it becomes and it builds so much resilience because when we start to look at what our fears are, as I talked about in Archeia Serenity's video, we don't all of a sudden rub out fear. It doesn't just all of a sudden go away. But when we start to look at what's causing us fear, for example, for me in the past, it was spiders. I still had that fear of spiders, but I became more courageous and I became more savvy and started to understand spiders more by looking at them and studying them and watching how they create their webs and looking at their totem medicine as the weavers, as the creators, as the bridge between the physical and spirit world. And so I grew with courage as I looked at them more, but I also started to understand them more, which also broke down the fear. Um, so face fear, heart on, head on, energy on, embrace what's coming forward, and be aware of when you are resisting and how your body's reacting to that, as in skin rashes or resistance, or you're getting like a cold and flu symptoms. That's you just wanting to shut down as well. And know that you are so infinitely supported by your angels. But remember that life is the teacher. The angels, we're just the guides. I say we because Cassiel is very much talking here. We are just the guides. Okay, Cassiel's crystal associations, again, very much Larimar crystal, because Cassiel and Serenity are the angel that really help us to feel protected when we're traveling on the sea, when we're in the sea, maybe have an apprehension of diving or swimming or traveling by ferry. They're also the angel that's tasked to transform fear from the waters of the world. They connect us to the dolphin and the dragon realm as well. And then another crystal is aquamarine, which I don't have. And the third crystal ally that I want to talk about is black kyanite, specifically black kyanite for Cassiel, not Serenity. Serenity is more shungite, which again is a very light crystal, more stone really that comes up from the center of the earth. And just to get yourself a wee or a big shungite pyramid and have this by your bed where you sleep, friends, creates this huge big radius around you as you're sleeping, and it just helps to ground, helps to clear your body as well of any toxic electromagnetic frequencies. And since I've been sleeping with that, I've had the much better sleep. It's much more grounded. But also, more for Cassiel is black kyanite, which helps us to look at our fears with a greater sense of our inner warrior coming out. It really gives us a sense of we can do this, we can surmount this. I have what it takes. Um, and back in the day, when the angel said to me, together we're going to create angel healing, just coming out of science, getting back to meditating on a regular basis, I thought they were having a laugh. Like, am I just making this up? Angel healing, I'm destined to be a teacher and create this modality, teach it around the world. It's going to be this and this and this. It's going to be, now taught in 70 countries. The official modality of angel therapy in the UK and Europe, the States, Canada, Middle East, New Zealand, Australia now. It's just growing and growing and growing. I thought, no way, because at that time I really had a big fear about public speaking, and I didn't want to be in a space. I'm very much an introvert, even though I do a lot of videos and I'm on social media a lot, and I do a lot of public speaking. I'm very much an introvert. I'm more at home in my own company, not speaking to anybody very much. Just I'll sit and chat with the angels, but I don't want to broadcast about that. But they knew that my highest dharma in this lifetime, that the angels help us with, our dharma being our greatest purpose. If you study astrology, it's your north node, wherever your north node is. For me, it's Leo. So it's being that courageous, outspoken, it's expanded self. Like, I feared that for so long. And there's still some times where I'll get on stage and I'll clam up and I'll get really nervous, but I know that they're right there. And this is it. This is the mastery of fear. It's to it's to go out and do and be your dharma while feeling the fear, knowing that it's present, knowing that it's there to be a teacher, embracing those teachings and just expressing so that we don't die. I know that sounds really morbid, but we don't leave this world full of dreams, full of potential. We're all here to share our gifts, to unleash our dharma in the most wonderful ways, in the ways that speak to us. And we do a disservice to everybody if we buy into fear and be immobilized by that. And that's what it's, and that's the excuse. That's the reason why we're not shining and sharing our truth and sharing our gifts. And so if you're ready to break down all of the doubts, all of the self-talk, all of the victimhood, all of the excuses, and do it anyway, this is your angel, Archangel Cassiel. So let me know how you get on partnering each other, friends. Have you encountered Cassiel before, and have you embraced his teachings, or have you shied away? Let me know in the comments. And if you're not subscribed, do subscribe to the channel, because this series is near closure, and the new one, there will be another series unveiled. So do click the bell and make sure you've subscribed for being notified. All right, until the next video, so much love from Cassiel and myself, and we'll see you soon.